I'll show this here. There's shared by the MLB Network, notable available starting pitchers. And you look at this list here, and you're not convinced that you're going to be signing Jack Flaherty. The O's aren't going to go after him. Roki Sasaki's probably going to go with the West Coast team. Then you kind of look at Justin Verlander, Max Scherzer, and Rip, you talked about this a little bit about how Max Scherzer could be that veteran presence that maybe provides that stability you're talking about, Kevin. But in my opinion, I think the trade market is really kind of the only option for the Orioles at this point. But that isn't a bad thing. There's a lot of trade capital that the O's have that they can, and honestly, that they really need to trade some people because they don't. There's so much talent in the prospects that there really isn't any room for them. I mean, what do you do with Kobe Mayo? What do you do with Heston Kjerstad? What do you do with a lot of these guys that have so much talent and there's just no room for them on the roster?
Yeah, there's a ton. There's a ton of decisions they have to make. Plus, they have a lot of outfield talent at different levels in the minor league system, right?
Yeah.
So they do have to figure
Honeycutt's
out.
in there now, and you got
Enrique Bradfield Jr. Yeah. You have a lot of guys that you're going to have to make decisions on, and it's a good problem to have. But also for the Orioles, this is the other part of it is how much do you trust the players that you have on the pitching side? So Zach Eflin, you know what you have. Grayson Rodriguez, you know what you believe you have.
Yeah.
But he's got to stay healthy. Has to stay healthy. So one thing that could stop Grayson's development is not being able to pitch. If he's on the field, Grayson's going to be an all-star. Like he has every makings of an all-star pitcher. Dean Kramer, if he keeps building off of it, Dean becomes a really solid 3 or 4 for any big league staff. Mm-hmm. He's learning along the way. Now it's going to be, all right, do you take a risk on another young guy, or do you go and get a guy that you feel is going to, no doubt, check the list? That's going to be the person you want it to be. Like that's where it sits with. I think for Baltimore, if you're a team where it's hard to attract certain players, which it has been, and your focus is extending players in the future on your current team, then the trade pipeline looks the most fitting. And I don't know if we want to go around and do a quick little exercise on what you would like to see and what type of either a free agent move. Do you want to start with a free agent move down the stretch, or do you just want to start with a trade?
We can do a free agent move. I think we can. I think it's fine to do both. I mean, we specifically talking about the biggest need the Orioles have is pitching, so we just stick with pitchers. I feel like that's just to make it easy, simple.
Yeah. So pitching move.
I think and this isn't going to be fans aren't going to like this, but Jack Flaherty I think could come back. Jack Flaherty didn't have a great experience. Fans didn't have a great experience with Jack Flaherty when he was here, but I think he was still coming off of that injury, and we saw what he did in LA. I think that I think that's the Jack Flaherty we could potentially get back here in Baltimore. So in my opinion, as far as free agents are concerned, I think Jack Flaherty could be a good signing.
Okay. Kev?
If there was a free agent move that I would predict for Baltimore, I would go Nick Pivetta. Zach, I said this on Kevin and Zachary. Look at him shaking his head. I feel like that's the move, whether, that's the move you want them to make or not. It just feels like Pivetta is the most realistic option to me out of the names available on the board here. I could see them maybe taking a 1-year shot at a Verlander or a Scherzer, but I just feel like Pivetta coming over from Boston is my most realistic free agent prediction for the Orioles, as much as Zach hates it.
No, it was the way you worded it. It was when we were talking about it originally. I was like, I don't know, we misunderstood each other.
Okay. All right. Okay.
All about the misunderstanding.
I was asking him a question about, okay, what's the big move? Trade, sign, what do you think the big move is for us? And he goes, I think the Orioles replace Corbin with Nick Pivetta. And I was like,
okay,
Kevin,
so it was a misunderstanding.
I was like, Kevin, they better not. I was like, but if there is a guy that I'm going to say, I think they make a trade, but it's the veteran leadership. I think a guy like Max Scherzer he checks a lot of boxes. He's that great team guy. You want him in the clubhouse. You want him there to help these young pitchers, whether it be the mental side of the game or exactly what he's seeing. I think he just overall, if it's a move where you're going to get a guy from, we'll talk about trades in a second, you go get your more front end guy from a team like the Mariners, from like a Dylan Cease from the Padres. You get him and you bring in a Max Scherzer to help round out the depth at the end, while also being the veteran presence, that veteran voice in the room. I think that works out well for them.
Yeah. So I know people don't like it. I'm my opinion, Zach, and you said it. I think Scherzer would be the veteran you'd bring in. If I'm looking at a guy where, yes, is he older? And I understand he's older, but when he's pitched, has it been because his stuff has gone away or that he just has to stay healthy? Last year, he was hurt. I think he pushed himself too far in the postseason the year before to try to pitch in the World Series, and that set him back in 2024. Then they kind of were like, all right, you're getting back on track. That was it. I think Scherzer also knows what it takes to win. And I think that people really underestimate taking that to win. I like Jack. I just have a hard time seeing the reunion.
Yeah.
That's just my only thing is I have a hard time seeing the reunion with Jack Flaherty coming back to Baltimore. But I do lean, like, I don't see them going after Quintana. I don't think that makes sense. Pivetta would make the most sense outside of a guy like Scherzer for me. And I know this name keeps popping up. Lauren, I know you mentioned it, and Josiah. Trevor Bauer is not going to be an option. And it's not me hating on the guy. It's not doing anything like that. I
don't know why people won't shut up about this guy. Just give up. Like, he's not coming back.
It's not, again, that I don't think that he has a good arm, that he has good stuff. There are things outside of it. You can say that he's burned bridges but whatever it is, it's not an Orioles thing.
Yeah.
It's an MLB thing at this point in time.
Correct.
And so that's something that I don't touch on it, not because of things, guys. It's just more so of I'm just being realistic. It's just not going to happen. Whatever reasons people are upset about, that's just the reality of it. So we'll see if the Orioles make another free agent move.
Fans would, I think, go nuts and hate it. But a veteran, if it's to just get a veteran guy in there, would you be open to Kyle Gibson reunion?
I would, but also Kyle, I think, went back there for family reasons to St. Louis, right?
Yeah, so
but
that,
I would be open to it
Mm-hmm.
because you know what? The most valuable Oriole that no one talked about in 2023 was Kyle Gibson.